Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I'm Tina Jha. Before I take you through what made news through the day, I appeal to all you viewers to stay safe from the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. In the wake of surge in cases in some states, it's all the more important for people to continue to maintain COVID-appropriate behavior. Remember to wear face masks, wash your hands and face regularly, and ensure that you maintain physical distancing each time you step outside. These simple precautions are all that it takes on our part to defeat the pandemic. And now let's get you the headlines of the day. Speak and work for a united and inclusive India. Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu gives newly elected members 12 tips to be effective parliamentarians. Advises them to know state of the nation, to be effective lawmakers. On the first day of the two-day orientation program, newly elected members apprised of the significance of parliamentary procedures. Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman Harivansh shares his experiences. Secretary General Desh Deepak Verma acquaints members with the working of the Rajya Sabha Secretariat. Campaigning intensifies in 5 states. DMK issues manifesto in Tamil Nadu. Union Minister Smriti Irani addresses public meetings in Assam. Former Union Minister Yashwant Sinha joins the Trinamool Congress Party. COVID vaccine given to nearly 3 crore people in the country so far. More than 20,53,000 people inoculated in a single day. And in a phone call with Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapakse, Prime Minister Narendra Modi reiterates India's commitment to neighbourhood first policy. Both leaders agree on the need to increase cooperation in the fight against COVID pandemic. An orientation program for the newly elected and nominated members of Rajya Sabha was inaugurated by Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu on Saturday. The orientation program has been devised to provide an opportunity to the new members to discuss and also appreciate the various aspects of the parliamentary practice and procedures, with special reference to the Rajya Sabha, and also to familiarize them with all the parliamentary institutions. Here's a report.
Chairman Naidu urged the newly elected members of the House to uphold rules and procedures of the House while discharging their duties as the lawmaker for the country. He also urged the newly elected not to fall prey to the temptation of disrupting the proceedings of the House and instead to be conscious of their noble responsibility towards enhancing the standing of the apex legislature in public esteem.
For you to succeed in this noble assignment, you need to perform well as a lawmaker in raising the matters of public importance from time to time in the House, seeking solutions as appropriate, making quality contributions to the debates in the House, and in ensuring the accountability of the executive to the Parliament. These correspond to the legislative, representative, deliberative, and oversight functions of the legislature. For any public servant or other functionary to effectively discharge their functions, proper understanding of the functional domain, the rules and regulations governing the work environment, and more importantly, right attitude and orientation are very important.
Chairman Naidu suggested to the first-time members of Rajya Sabha to enhance their knowledge about the history and contribution and rules of the House.
राजनीतिक जीवन में, जनजीवन में ये अभिविन्यास माने ओरिएंटेशन बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है, क्योंकि हम जब सदस्य बने इस सभा का, वो सभा का विधि विधान क्या है, नियम क्या है, इसका पुराना इतिहास क्या है और इसमें कौन कौन रहा है, उन्होंने कैसा व्यवहार किया है, और आजकल वर्तमान में जो हो रहे इसके संदर्भ में सदन में हम कैसा व्यवहार करना, हमारा आचरण कैसा होना चाहिए, इसके लिए पहले थोड़ा विषय परिज्ञान, नॉलेज is very much important. So that's why this orientation program has been organized.
Senior Congress leader and Rajya Sabha member Anand Sharma highlighted the role on the upper house in India's democratic structure.
Another important thing about Rajya Sabha, Council of States, is that this is the permanent house, like the American Senate, with the one-third of the members retiring every 2 years. It gives an advantage to the country. Imagine if the Lok Sabha is resolved, country is in the election mode, and suddenly there is a national emergency. There is need for Parliament to discuss something or maybe to urgently adopt some legislation. Is the Council of States then, which is a permanent chamber, which can meet in any situation, which is always available, and whatever it decides after the general elections will be taken up by the elected House of the People, that is the Lok Sabha.
Rajya Sabha Secretary General apprised the participating members that the orientation program will consist of sessions on specific topics conducted by eminent parliamentarians and gave a detailed overview of the Rajya Sabha Secretariat.
We have the different services, which is one is the LAFIA, which is legislative, financial, executive and administrative service. These are basically the services which are in contact with you, and these are the people who are behind the administration in the Secretariat. Then we have the largest service, which I just now mentioned, the library, reference, research, documentation and information services. We have the verbatim reporting services, which is do the reporting, the new initiatives that have been taken. As you are aware that we have been moving very fast towards the digitization, not only the country, not only the private sector, the government, but also the parliament, and several provisions have been made for members to interact with the parliament, submit their demands, submit their notices through an e-portal. So there are provision of e-notice.
The orientation program will enable the new members to discharge their duties effectively and also to contribute meaningfully to the proceedings of the House. Kriti Mishra's report for Sansad TV.
During the orientation program for the newly elected members of Rajya Sabha, several members expressed their views on the importance of the questionnaire and also topics of public importance, among others. The orientation program will continue on Sunday as well. The concluding session will be addressed by Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman Harivansh.
We all know that Parliament is the highest accountability forum of the country. And the questionnaire is primarily there to elicit information and to ensure accountability. And I can tell you one thing. In 14 years, I have seen, and my late father, Mr. I.K. Gujral, used to tell me, that this is 1 hour that all ministers dread, because they are on test and their performance is being tested during questionnaire. You make your reputation or unmake a reputation through the questionnaire. Ministers have been dropped by many prime ministers because they were unable to, they might have been competent ministers, but they were not able to answer the questions properly.
On a serious note, I just wanted to ask you that my question was listed yesterday on 12th, but unfortunately it was declared holiday. So I get the opportunity to question on 15th?
Unfortunately.
Will it be listed again or no?
No.
Possibility of questions, sir. Now, let's say, for example, I'm filing 3 start questions and 5 unstart questions. Now, let's say, for example, I get a start question. The ballot says that I got a start question. And there are 3 questions and I've given preferences, 1, 2, 3, and I do everything online. And unstart also serially, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Invariably, I find though all the 3 questions were admissible and probably serial number 1 was the most preferred one for me, I find serial number 2 or 3 comes up. The same with unstart questions. So how does this happen? Where is this discretion coming from?
Very important to keep this in mind. It's not just raising of the issue, but it's also projecting that you have raised this issue, which is very important. Most frequently used instrument is 0 hour. There has been some discussion on 0 hour. Most frequently used instrument, and I am very happy that the present chairman has streamlined the functioning of 0 hour. With the result that when the Rajya Sabha functions normally, and you will see the result on Monday perhaps, in 1 hour you may end up 15 members of parliament at least will have an opportunity of raising some issue of public importance or the other. But the trick in 0 hour is not to read. And the distinction between 0 hour and special mention is this. The trick in 0 hour is to raise the issue in a manner that you would raise it in a public platform.
Powers, privileges, subject to the provisions of this constitution and to the rules and standing orders regulating the procedure of parliament, there shall be freedom of speech in parliament. So subject to your own rules, this is the first, this comes back from that old king's thing, who used to stop freedom of speech inside parliament. Second is, no member of parliament shall be liable to any proceedings in any court in respect of anything said by him in parliament or in respect of vote given by him. And third is, in other respects, the privileges and powers shall be that which existed immediately as on 1978. Now, if you look at this article, and 194 is identical in respect of the other assemblies. Firstly, there is full freedom of speech in each house of parliament and you can't be touched, but of course subject to your own rules.
During the orientation program, Rajya Sabha Secretary General Deshdeepak Verma also gave detailed information about the Sansad TV and the Parliamentary Security Services. Listen in.
There are several times there is a duplication or maybe a subject of importance which is being discussed in the parliament or which is facing the parliament and even the nation. So at that point of time, those debates were being held separately. So that can be. So idea is to have a common quality production of the programs and telecast it in a joint channel. And during the session, it will telecast the proceedings of the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha both. So it is Sansad TV with these twin objectives.
In some other news, Union Minister Prakash Javadekar on Saturday inaugurated the exhibition to commemorate 75 years of India's independence, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, at 6 places in the country virtually. The 6 places where the exhibitions were inaugurated are Jammu, Imphal, Patna, Bhubaneswar, Pune and Bengaluru. After inaugurating the exhibition in Delhi, the minister said, independence was achieved after a lot of sacrifices by our freedom fighters. He said, through this exhibition, people will come to know about the freedom struggle of our country. He also said that the basis of the objective to celebrate Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav by the Prime Minister is to connect people and make them aware of the freedom struggle.
आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव पर्व का प्रारंभ हुआ है। मुझे लगता है ये देश के लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण घड़ी है। आज तक आजादी के बाद जहां पहुंचे हैं उसका अवलोकन और आने वाले 25 साल में क्या करेंगे इसका संकल्प, यही उद्देश्य, इसी उद्देश्य से यह आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव देश भर में आने वाले 2-2.5 साल मनाया जाएगा।
Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat on Saturday chaired a webinar with all the states and union territories ministers in charge of rural water supply. During the meeting, he also reviewed the progress made under the Jal Jeevan mission. The union minister released the drinking water quality testing, monitoring and surveillance framework and also launched the water quality management information system of Jal Jeevan mission. Addressing the media after the webinar, the minister said that since the announcement of Jal Jeevan mission, over 3,77 lakh rural households have been provided with tap water connections. Time for a short break here. More news and updates will continue on the other side. Do stay with us.
Watch The Big Picture at 9:30 p.m. only on Rajya Sabha television. Article 54 deals with election of President of India. The President shall be elected by the members of an electoral college consisting of the elected members of both houses of parliament and the elected members of the legislative assemblies of the states.
Ghata, one of the oldest and most unique percussion instruments of southern India. You can play it not only with your fingers, but palms, wrists and heels as well. You'll be surprised, but the air inside the ghatam reverberates, creating the musical notes. 5 elements of nature, earth, water, air, fire and space make up the composition of this beautiful musical piece, which has found an apt place in most of the ancient books.
Welcome back. You're watching News Tonight. And now let's take you through all the news and views from the poll-bound states. The BJP's Central Election Committee meeting is currently underway at the party headquarters in New Delhi to finalize the list of candidates for the upcoming assembly elections in West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Assam and Kerala and the Union Territory of Puducherry. The meeting is being attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, BJP President JP Nadda, among others. Union Minister and BJP leader Smriti Irani addressed public meetings in Assam on Saturday. Addressing her maiden election campaign rally, she said Prime Minister Modi and Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal have rolled out a number of schemes benefiting the poor people of the state. She described the Congress as the most corrupt party and appealed to the people to vote for the BJP to continue to avail benefits of the various central and state schemes.
हाल में 15 वित्तीय आयोग की वजह से 15th फाइनेंस कमीशन की वजह से 1,70,000 करोड़ रुपया असम के विकास के लिए नरेंद्र मोदी की सरकार ने असम के लिए सुनिश्चित किया है। कहां कांग्रेस पार्टी की केंद्र की सरकार जो 60,000 करोड़ रुपया भी नहीं दे सकती थी असम के लिए, और कहां मोदी जी की सरकार जिन्होंने 1,70,000 करोड़ रुपया आपके विकास के लिए, गरीब के कल्याण के लिए, असम की जनता के लिए सुनिश्चित किया।
In Tamil Nadu, the opposition DMK released the party's manifesto for the upcoming assembly elections. The party has made a slew of promises, including free computer tablets with data card for students and a law to provide 75% jobs in the state to the local population. The party has also promised financial assistance of 25,000 rupees to 1 lakh people going on pilgrimage to major Hindu temples, increase in maternity leave period and assistance and cut in fuel prices. The party has also given an assurance of providing a subsidy of 100 rupees on LPG cylinders. Besides, the DMK has also said that if voted to power, they will provide better water management, supply of clean drinking water, increase in women's reservation in the government jobs, a hike in old age pension, and establishment of Kalangar Unavargam eateries as part of the hunger eradication program. The manifesto also promised to take steps to seek an early report from the Commission, which is probing the death of former Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha. The Kerala CongressJoseph group, an ally of the Congress-led United Democratic Front, on Saturday announced the candidates list for the 6th April state elections. Party Supremo P.J. Joseph will be contesting from the Thodupuzha constituency. Senior leaders, Advocate Monse Joseph MLA, K. Francis George, Thomas Uniadan are contesting from Kaduturuthi, Idukki and Irinjalakuda constituencies. The UDF leaders had yesterday announced that as per the seat-sharing agreement, 10 seats have been allocated for the Joseph faction of Kerala Congress. And former Union Minister and BJP leader Yashwant Sinha joined the Trinamool Congress on Saturday. Sinha, also a former BJP leader who served in the cabinet of former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee as Finance Minister, joined the TMC on Saturday. He first became Finance Minister in November 1990 under Prime Minister Chandrasekhar. His second tenure stretched between December 1998 and July 2002 under Atal Bihari Vajpayee when he was Prime Minister. And from then to May 2004, he also served as the country's External Affairs Minister. A former IAS officer, Sinha had quit the BJP in 2018. The Trinamool Congress Party has welcomed Yashwant Sinha into the party fold. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday had a telephonic conversation with Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The leaders reviewed topical developments and the ongoing cooperation between both countries in bilateral and multilateral forums. They agreed to maintain regular contact between relevant officials, including in the context of the continuing COVID-19 challenges. The Prime Minister reiterated the importance of Sri Lanka to India's neighbourhood-first policy. And Union Health Minister Dr. Vardhan inaugurated the new green campus of ICMRs National Institute for Research in Environment Health at Bhopal on Saturday. He said that the research institute will play a great role in changing human behavior through scientific communication aimed at educating and motivating the public to adopt pro-environmental behavior. Talking about the rising infection cases, the minister said this disturbing trend was due to the carelessness and misunderstandings and urged everyone to follow the COVID-19 appropriate behavior for protection against the virus. A look now at the COVID-19 situation in the country. Nearly 3 crore COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered across the country till date. Meanwhile, India also reported 24,882 fresh cases of coronavirus in the last 24 hours, taking the total tally to over 1 crore 13 lakh. Maharashtra, Kerala, Punjab, Karnataka, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu and Madhya Pradesh have together reported 87.72% of the total new cases, while Maharashtra alone contributed to 63.57% of the total active cases in the country. Several states have begun to reimpose restrictions due to rising COVID cases. In Nagpur, Maharashtra, the local bench of the Bombay High Court will hold virtual hearings between 15 to 21st of March. In Punjab, night curfew has been imposed in 8 districts with high caseload. Schools and Anganwadi centres have also been shut across the state due to surge in new cases. India's active caseload has gone up to 2.02 lakh, comprising 1.78% of the total cases. 140 deaths have also been reported from across the country in the last 24 hours, bringing the total death toll due to coronavirus in the country to 1,58,446. The number of people who've recovered from the disease has crossed 1.09 crore, and the national recovery rate now stands at 96.82%. So that's it from us in this bulletin. But before we leave, I once again urge and appeal to all our viewers to stay safe from the coronavirus pandemic. Remember to wear your face masks, wash your hands and face regularly, and ensure that you maintain physical distancing whenever you step outside. Remember, these simple precautions by us are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic, which is not over yet. Good night and thank you for your time.